guys, welcome back to Unbalanced with me, Cerys Davage. How are we all doing? You may notice that there's something different in this episode. Unbalanced is going through a little bit of a change, a little bit of a rebrand, and that is because we are celebrating Unbalanced turning 3 years old. Guys, 3 years old, isn't that crazy? Time has flown and I have loved every second of it. And I guess when I started Unbalanced 3 years ago, I was still living at home with my parents and I thought I would just start a podcast. If you don't already know the story, basically, I was really into podcasts. I had a lot of radio experience, a lot of interviewing and presenting experience that I wanted to channel into my own project. And I guess podcasts were becoming quite popular over COVID, and I really got into them and I thought, I want to listen to something that is not just something I can relate to on a surface level of, being in my 20s or being a woman. I wanted something with that extra level of having a disability as well. And I just didn't know of any other podcast that I could relate to on that level. So I just decided to be the voice I wish I had growing up and the representation I wish I had growing up, because I just didn't see anyone like me in the media or online that I could relate to. So I started this podcast 3 years ago just as like a little side hobby. I didn't think much of it, I just thought, I'm going to give this a go, see how it goes. I remember designing the logo with my sister Becca, sat at the kitchen table at home, just whipped something quick up, saved the photo, didn't even save the project file, which, if you guys know, that was a huge mistake. If you're a graphic designer or something, you know that is just not something you're supposed to do, but always save the project file, okay? Top tip. Anyway, 3 years later, it's become something I never expected it to become. It's reached people globally. It's reached, I don't know how many, over 60 countries, I think. It's given me so many opportunities. It's given me opportunities to travel the world. I've gone to different countries in Europe and different places in America because of this podcast and because I was able to embrace my disability and embrace the community. And this podcast has brought so many guests on that, looking back, has just been an absolute whirlwind and an absolute pleasure to listen to people's stories, to get the opportunity to interview different people and hear their stories of all different backgrounds, countries, communities, and just kind of broaden my perspectives. This podcast wasn't just a place for me to ramble on about my own life. It was a place to share other people's stories, people who may not get the opportunity to have the mic to share their stories, and maybe a bit more well-known people as well. It's been a real mixed bag, which I absolutely love. A lot of people from Wales, a lot of Welsh episodes, and also episodes with people online from all over the world, which I'm just super, super grateful for. It's just been crazy to think how far this podcast has come. I only have you guys' support to thank. I've just enjoyed every second of this journey, and what makes it so special is knowing that it resonates with some of you guys listening, or it educates you guys, which is just the whole point, isn't it? I either want this podcast to help someone, someone that might be able to relate and help them live their best life and know that they're not alone, but also educate people who might not know much about not only my condition, limb-girdle muscular dystrophy 2I/R9, but also other disabilities, and I've learnt a lot as well. So because of that, and because of how big it's come and how serious I'm taking this now, compared to 3 years ago when I started it, I thought it was about time for a little rebrand. So you may be able to tell that the logo is a little bit different. The with Cerys Davage is in lowercase, which I think just gives it a nice little refresh, makes the Unbalanced stand out a bit. I'm still keeping the same colour scheme. I feel like I love those colours so much and they kind of really resonate with me. A lot of those colours is what I wear, which is quite handy. But also, I've added my face onto the logo now. I've kind of rebranded it in a way that makes it a bit more personal to me. You may notice that a lot of podcasts these days have faces on them, the faces of the hosts. And I thought it was about time for me to do the same. So I got a little photo shoot. I was able to play around with lots of different versions of the logo, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I hope you guys are too. So I've just kind of given my socials, my YouTube, my podcast a little bit of a refresh in terms of that, and just freshen up the branding a little bit. Another big thing is the jingle, obviously. The jingle sounds completely different, and you may be thinking, what on earth is going on? I missed the old jingle. What's going on? This doesn't feel like Unbalanced. I get that, and I'm so sorry if you feel that way. Basically, like I said, when I started this podcast, not much thought went into it in terms of the longevity of it. It was just a side hobby. I quickly did a logo that I don't even have the original design, and I just got a random free to use music thing online that I just shortened into a jingle, but it's not actually my music. I don't own it. It's just a kind of free to use one. But after reflecting a lot on this podcast over the past few months, and a lot of work has gone into this rebranding, I realised that not only do I not own the jingle, but also it doesn't feel like Unbalanced. As much as we, I guess over the years we've gotten used to this jingle and the techno version of the music, it just doesn't feel like Unbalanced. Unbalanced is super chill compared to the techno music that I chose. It's meant to feel like, a FaceTime with a friend or a chat over a cup of coffee. So I wanted some music that could reflect that. And not only is this jingle really special to me in terms of the fact that it does reflect the kind of chillness, but also the slight imbalancedness of the podcast, but also I co-wrote it with my sister Becca. We started it completely from scratch. Becca is studying music, so she's kind of tapped into that quite a lot mentally, and she has some great software that we were able to kind of experiment together. So we have written this jingle completely ourselves, so it is completely, I feel like I could take more ownership of the podcast because of this, and it's something that we've worked really hard on. I hope that you will get used to it over time. I know that it feels weird to begin with when something changes and you're used to something being a certain way. I hope that you will grasp onto this and embrace it the way we have. I hope the jingle starts to feel like Unbalanced. Becca did also add a really cute thing into the jingle. I don't know if you guys heard it at the beginning. You'll hear it again at the end. There's a little ding ding that's meant to kind of be a nod to the old techno jingle that was the original one. I just can't believe that this rebranding is finally happening. I'm so proud of it. A lot of work has gone into this. I work full time, so the work that goes into this podcast is all unsociable hours, a lot of late evenings, a lot of weekends go into this podcast, and a lot of voice notes to my editor who, bless him, has to just kind of embrace everything I throw at him, and he always does an amazing job, so I have to give him a huge shout out, Alex. His details are in the description of every episode that he edits, so if you guys do want to work with him, I really, really couldn't recommend him more. And Alex, feel free to add a note in.
It'd be rude not to. Thank you, Cerys, for that lovely message that I wasn't expecting you to put into this vlog. Hello all, my name's Alex. I've been working with Cerys since April of last year, and I've absolutely loved the fact that, we do talk to so many people. I mean, I know I don't, but I listen to it all and I edit it all. I'm really grateful for all of the brilliant content we've managed to put out since I've been working with Cerys. She's brilliant to work with, and it's cool that it's a completely disabled-led production, because I've got cerebral palsy. Yeah, we really appreciate you all listening. I really appreciate Cerys as a boss, and I can't wait to see what the rebrand and the future holds. Right, I'm going to let you get back to Cerys.
And I also have to give Hayden a shout out, who made the original graphic sequence for this podcast over a year ago now, maybe about a year and a half ago. And it's time for a new one, obviously. With a new logo comes a new set of everything. So he has also freshened up the intro kind of graphic sequence to this podcast, which I absolutely love. So thank you so much to Hayden for working hard on this as well. And I also have to thank my sponsors. I have to thank Cure LGMD2I, who are just the most incredible foundation. They have helped me and my family so much in our journey of living with LGMD2I R9, and also helped us with starting our own charity, which again still isn't official, but it's, we're working hard on it. And Kelly Brazo of the foundation is just absolutely incredible, and she really has been like a mentor to me through these past couple of years, in all this traveling, going to different conferences, raising more awareness. She's really been there with me throughout it all, and I just couldn't be more grateful for that. So I have to give Kelly a huge shout out, and if you guys do want to check out their website or to donate, the link is always in every single podcast episode description. So please do take the time to check them out. The work they're doing is incredible, not only in the USA, but globally. And hopefully we'll be able to expand that work into the UK a bit more. The other sponsor of this podcast is BridgeBio Neuromuscular, who are just absolutely incredible. They work tirelessly into treatments for people living with 2I/R9, and they have a lot of work going on at the moment, which you guys will know about very soon in an upcoming episode. I really admire their drive and their passion. I really recommend checking out their website as well. They are a pharmaceutical company that just have been such a great support to our community, and I could not thank them enough for their support for this podcast as well. And without these sponsors, it wouldn't be, I guess, as successful. And with the help of these sponsors, I've been able to move on to this new chapter of Unbalanced. This rebranding is so exciting, but it's not just the cosmetic rebranding. The podcast is going to look a little bit different as well. I've been able to travel a bit more, like I said, but also travel within this country to make the time to meet people in person. I love doing the episodes online, and they are really, really special. Obviously, it's incredible that we're able to do episodes online because, not everyone can travel because of their disability. I can reach people wherever they are in the world, which is just amazing. But I wanted to make more of an effort to meet people in person, if that's possible for both of us, and putting a lot more work and admin work into being able to expand the location of Unbalanced a bit more as well. So I've gone to different studios, met a lot of great people that I cannot wait for you guys to meet. Their episodes are going to be absolutely amazing. I'm so excited. They're definitely ones to watch, I would say, more than listening. I know that a lot of people love listening to podcasts, but I would recommend watching the next couple of episodes. They're going to be good. So yeah, I guess that's it on the branding side of things and the little update I had to give you in terms of the new chapter of Unbalanced. The content is pretty much going to stay the same, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm going to be back with some real good topics, but I want to hear from you. I want to hear who you want to see on the podcast. I want to know what topics you want me to cover. This is a podcast that hopefully helps a lot of the community, and I want to do that for you. I want to dedicate this podcast to you guys and to help you guys live your best lives, hopefully. So please let me know if there are any topics you'd like me to discuss, if there's anything you want me to share about my own life that you think might be useful for you. Or yeah, like I said, any guests you think would be good on this podcast, please let me know. I didn't give you guys much of an update last time because in the last episode, it was the mix of interviews I did from Denmark and Iowa, and the response from that episode has just been amazing, and I'm so proud of it. I'm so glad you guys liked it. It was kind of like a speed date sort of episode. It was very quick fire interviews with a lot of different people, but I really felt that it was a for the people, by the people kind of episode where we could just kind of showcase the variety of, people living with the same condition but being affected so differently, or being in such different countries where the support is so different from country to country. It was really interesting to hear, and I hope to do more of those types of episodes in the future. But in terms of my personal life, I just thought I'd give you a quick update because this isn't going to be a very long episode. I'm not going to dive into any topics today because I've already spoken enough. Like I said, I did get a new job working with an education company in comms, communications, working on their sort of digital communications and social media. And I must say it's going really well. I'm really enjoying it. The people are lovely. And it's just the change I needed. I think I was getting a bit too stressed in my last job, a little bit burnt out. I'm still working on my work-life balance, as always, but I think I'm just in a much better place in terms of my day job now, and I couldn't be more grateful for the support I've had from both my family and my workplace as well. So I have to give my colleagues a shout out, and also my family and Tristan, my partner, who have been nothing but supportive. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say. I've just been really busy with work, busy with the podcast, busy with my own social media, which I'm trying to keep up as much as I can. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of consistent work, but I'm really enjoying it. It's going quite well, I must say, just in terms of, being able to reach more people and advocate more online for not only the disability community, but the celiac community as well. Do you know what's crazy though? The content that does the best on my social media are all to do with my adapted car, just because the comments can be a bit crazy. I've been getting a lot of comments from angry men mostly, saying like, oh, I can't see anything wrong with you, so you don't deserve a adapted car or a new car or whatever. Which is always great. Definitely have a thick skin to that, comments like those don't really faze me, so I'm not worried in that sense, but it's just like, how can people be so ignorant? You know what I mean? But it's just encouraging me to make more and more videos about Motability and about the adapted car, because there are so many misconceptions around it. I guess a really exciting opportunity that's come up recently is because I've done so many videos on Motability and I'm so passionate about it because it has changed my life. Motability themselves have reached out to me and they want to work with me, which is just crazy. And I'm so excited about that because, when you see content creators do like paid advertisements on social media, you're like, well, is that really authentic? Like, are they just saying this because they're getting paid for it? This, for me, like, you couldn't get more authentic than this. I talk about Motability anyway. I always share how much it's, changed my life. I would be basically housebound if I didn't have my adapted car. And now they want to work with me on social media and to get paid to talk about something that I'm really passionate about. Like, I'm just blown away and so grateful that I'm able to do this. So I'm really excited about that. I've also been able to work with Celiac UK quite a bit recently, who are obviously the main charity for celiac disease in the UK. And they really helped me since I was diagnosed at 7 years old, 18 years ago. I'm so grateful for their support. And we've done a lot together. I was always like the Welsh person that they'd get to speak to the press about different aspects of living with celiac disease. But now I'm able to work with them on social media and I'm absolutely loving that. And it's just been really nice to work with companies and organisations, charities that I'm actually really passionate about. Something that you might not know if you don't work in social media is you can't say yes to every opportunity. I get a lot of emails now saying, we'd love to work with you, we'd love to pay for you to do a video on, this product or this website or whatever. But if it's not something I've actually used or something that's not really authentic to me, I won't be promoting it. And I want you to know that, I'm turning down a lot of things that I could just be accepting just for the money, but I think it's really important, especially now where people are quite slick on picking up on whether things are authentic or not in terms of paid ads on social media. And I'm being really picky with who to work with, because I think it is so important. You know, I will only work with charities or companies that I think will bring value to my audience. I've been able to work a bit with Muscular Dystrophy News Today, who are a great online resource, not just full of articles from members of the community, but also with forums, chats, discussions for people to bring them together, all types of people with muscular dystrophy. That's not something I had growing up, and I think it's just a fantastic resource. They are based in America, but they are like a global website, a global organization. So I've been able to work with them as well. And lots of just different things that I think bring value or kind of benefit our community in some way. So it's been really nice to be able to do that, because I don't think I'm passionate about anything more than this. So I'm, just really enjoying where I'm at in my kind of job at the moment, even though it's a lot, doing this full-time job and doing all this content creation and podcast alongside it. I feel like you have to be really, really passionate to do this. You have to really want to do this. Otherwise, it's just going to be boring, or it's going to burn you out and you're going to just want to quit. And apparently most podcasters quit after a year or something. Someone told me recently. But I'm so proud to say that I've reached 3 years of Unbalanced, and here's to many more. It's not going to go away anytime soon. I did buy a cake just to celebrate. It's right here. I searched a bit too hard for this cake. I couldn't find any gluten-free cakes. I spent basically most of my morning going around looking for gluten-free cakes, and in this one shop I went to, there was only one gluten-free cake in the entire store, and this is it. So it's a carrot and walnut cake, which I love, no complaints. And I bought a little 3 candle just to put on top. So I hope you appreciate this cake, and I'm actually going to light it to end this episode. This might be messy. Let's see. Yay, we did it! Here is to 3 years of Unbalanced, and to hopefully many more. Feels so weird blowing out a cake by myself when no one else is around, but I know you guys are appreciating this. Let me give you a little close-up. She's cute, no? Anyway, I can't make this episode longer than it has to be. It's like 30 degrees and I'm boiling up, and I'm sure my camera is struggling as well. So I'm going to go now. I hope you appreciated this episode and just maybe got a bit more insight into the work that goes behind this podcast and the passion that goes behind it as well. I just love this podcast so much, and I'm just so grateful. I would not have imagined for it to be as successful as it is, and I owe it to you guys for just your continued support. So thank you so much for your support. Thank you for always sticking by me, and I will see you guys very soon in some very exciting episodes that I've recorded so long ago now that I'm actually really excited to rewatch when they come out. Thank you again to my sponsors, Cure LGMD2I Foundation and Bridge Bio Neuromuscular. Thank you for your support. Please make sure that you're subscribed or you're following the podcast on your favourite podcast platform, because that really helps me out, and that you rate the podcast 5 stars on Spotify or Apple Podcast or whatever, and that you like this video if you're watching on YouTube. I'll see you guys very soon, and until then, have a lovely week. Bye!